Hello. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Bonsoir à tous. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Y'all okay? We have a lot to cover as usual. Before I get into the main topic, there's a couple of stories that I'd like to touch on, which no one is touching on because, there's a veil, there's a blanket on what's happening in the rest of the world. So they like to keep that out of sight. OAT, thank you. Says guten Abend, Habibi. Wünsche dir auch einen schönen Abend und freut mich sehr, dass ihr alle hier sind. Ja? Guten Abend, Michael. Wie geht's dir? Alles klar? Or as in Germany, they say moin, right? So anyway, yeah, we got a lot to cover, man. It's really difficult being angry at like 15 things at the same time because you just want to... I'm just going to read your comments. How many are we in here? Wow. 66. So make sure you throw a couple of shoes at the like button. Helps with the algorithm. You know the drill. Y'all know the drill. I'm just going to make sure my music doesn't show up or rather that you can't hear it in the other. Okay. Okay. So let's begin with this other story, right? So I don't know if you guys saw my okay, wait. Yeah, so yesterday and last week, I reported on these new airstrikes that took place in Damascus, that took place in Syria. You know, the Zionist occupation have zero respect for human rights and international law, so they permit themselves to undertake incursions. Yes, that's putting it mildly. They carry out airstrikes in neighboring countries on a regular basis, whether it's Iran, Lebanon, Syria. And by their own admission, they've done hundreds of them inside Syria since the start of the war alone. So we're not even addressing the ones that also took place regularly before 2011. So when they carried out this airstrike last week on 20th of July, they actually ended up killing someone who was from Hezbollah, and they're scared now. They're scared. So take a look at what happened today, right? This is... So the headline reads, Israel warns Hezbollah via the United Nations against mounting reprisal. So according to the Israeli message, as reported by Lebanese news outlet El Mayadeen, Hezbollah operative Al-Kamel Mohsen Jawad was not the intended target of an airstrike in Damascus last week. Which makes it totally okay, right? So they wounded 7 Syrian soldiers, and there were other casualties, and one of the people that they killed was Jawad from Hezbollah, and now they're like, oh, we're totally sorry about that. That was an accident. No, what were you doing in Syria in the first place? Like if you didn't kill him, that makes it okay? Wounding 7 Syrian soldiers is okay? Violating Syrian sovereignty is okay? Violating Syrian airspace is okay? Bombing Syria is okay? And so, not only are they not really apologizing, they're just scared shitless because of Hezbollah. Because if you recall correctly, after 25 years of occupation, southern Lebanon was liberated by Hezbollah, right? In the year 2000. And then I remember in 2006, I was actually next door in Syria. Israel invaded Lebanon again, and they got their asses kicked, and they withdrew within a matter of weeks because Hezbollah kicked their asses. So they're scared shitless of a response from Hezbollah, and so this is why they're saying that, oh, oops, we didn't mean to kill that guy. We didn't mean to kill Jawad. Now, it says Israel on Saturday issued a stern warning to Hezbollah via the United Nations that it will not tolerate any act of aggression following the death of a Hezbollah operative in Damascus last Monday. Let me read that again. That Israel will not tolerate any act of aggression. No. You committed the act of aggression when you illegally bomb someone's country and you kill a foreign national on top of it. That is an act of aggression. You are the aggressor. What kind of twisted logic is this? Oh, that's right. Zionist, American, imperialist logic. That's what it is. Israel also sent a message of de-escalation to Hezbollah via Moscow. Once again, I mean, you go in and kill people and bomb them, and then you're like, oh, you better de-escalate. It's time to de-escalate. You know, you got to swallow what we do to you. You got to swallow these aggressions and accept them. And you better de-escalate, or else you're a terrorist. How dare you defend yourself? So on Thursday, the IDF began reinforcing the country's northern border with infantry troops after Hezbollah threatened to retaliate. Now, what they're doing is essentially they have this Iron Dome missile system which shoots down any rockets that are fired over into the Zionist occupation. And the translation of this sentence, when they say the IDF began reinforcing the country's northern border, means they're scared shitless. And they should be, because they get their asses kicked. So on top of that, once again, according to El-Mayadeen, meanwhile, Israel said it did not intend to kill Jawad and that he was not the target of the reported airstrike. Wow. Well, thank you for clearing that up. Thank you for clearing up your aggression and military incursion and airstrike. That's really comforting. And I love the last sentence here. Quote, the IDF and the entire defense establishment will act decisively against any threat to Israeli citizens. Lebanon and Syria will bear direct responsibility for any action taken from their territory. Well, why doesn't that apply to you? I mean, by your own logic, shouldn't you bear any responsibility when you kill Syrian citizens, when you kill Lebanese nationals? What is this double standard? Day in, day out, week in, week out, decade in, decade out. This is what Arabs have to go through. This double standard that is not just perpetuated by Israel, but reinforced by the United Nations and the international community and the United States backing them, letting them get away with genocide of the Palestinian people, letting them get away with land grabbing, annexation, ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people, and on top of it, the continued violation and aggression and bombing of neighboring countries. With impunity, no consequences, ever, for nothing at all. But if Syria did that, if Lebanon had done that, if Iran had done that to Israel, you would not hear the end of it. Never. They would cry until the cows come home about how their sovereignty is being violated and how everyone is a threat to their security. But it's okay for them to bomb other countries with impunity, right? This is unbelievable. So just about an hour ago, on Al-Mayadeen, you had the second in command from Hezbollah. So the leader is Nasrallah, and the second in command is Sheikh Qasim, and he comes on for an interview, and he told them that, look, every time you kill one of ours, there will be a response, but he did not specify whether it's going to be in the near future. It's whenever they find the opportunity, essentially. So you can tell, man, they're scared shitless. Otherwise, why are they issuing this statement? But I don't think that Lebanon and Syria are in any position to retaliate to begin with, and they know this. That's why they've been getting away with carrying out hundreds of airstrikes within Syrian territory, and no one does anything, right? Because they've made sure that the Syrian government, that the Syrian people are, fighting 12 different fronts. They got jihadists coming out of their fucking ears, thanks to Uncle Sam and the Gulf monarchies in Turkey, and including Israel, who's been giving them medical attention, logistical supplies, and military aid. So, and they know damn well that Lebanon is also having huge economic problems. I mean, their economy's gone to shit. They had tons of corruption issues a few months ago when we covered those protests. They know that these countries are in no position to retaliate at the moment, but they are scared of Hezbollah. And it's so funny because if you go and watch reports from the Western mainstream media about this, the very few that you will even find, they've tried to frame it in a way that like, oh, look, Hezbollah are looking super weak right now because we don't even know if they're going to retaliate. And, they don't have that much support anymore inside Lebanon. Yeah, it's just a bunch of bullshit. They've been saying that for the last 20 years. So I just wanted to highlight the double standard here, which, is continuous, never ending, and a constant. Whenever we take a look at this conflict between the Arab neighboring countries and this illegal Zionist occupation, it's really disgusting. And this is an egregious affront upon the sovereignty of independent Arab nations, regardless. This is compounded on top of the injustices, the genocide that's being committed against Palestinians, right? So these are two issues where they're getting away with murder and aggression with absolute immunity. It's really disgusting, and no one holds them accountable ever, right? They're not going to talk about this on CNN. Oh no. And, once again, you'll have people drawing you into this conversation where it's about, why are you mad, bro? They just killed a terrorist. No, you're not listening. You don't have permission to go inside someone else's country. You don't have permission to bring jets with you and conduct airstrikes in someone else's country. Do you understand this concept? Does that click in your fucking brain? Does that click? Also, this entire notion that people who are liberating their own land, guerrilla fighters, resistance fighters, are terrorists, this is Western propaganda, because it is clearly, explicitly, unmistakably written in international law. It is enshrined in the UN Charter and the Geneva Convention that you have the absolute 100% legal right to resist an illegal occupation of your country, of your homeland, using any means necessary. So when people come into your borders with their army, okay, and sit there for 20 plus years, and you get sick and tired of their shit, that's not called terrorism. That's called a resistance movement, okay? You don't look at the French resistance in World War II, killing Nazis, and then say, oh, they're terrorists. No, that is a resistance movement, and you are purposely being intellectually dishonest and an imperialist cunt when you are labeling people that are fighting for their fucking homeland as terrorists. Of course you would say that, because you are either uneducated or you are an imperialist. And I'm not interested in having any kind of, I'm not going to engage in some kind of debate. It's not a debate. It's like someone trying to debate if 1 + 1 = 2. That's not a fucking debate. If you don't comprehend that, that's your problem. Okay? There's people out there in the Middle East that are dying. There's people out there in the Middle East who are sick of being under armed occupation, under illegal occupation. Do you understand that? Probably not. If you did understand that, you wouldn't talk like a fucking moron. So just wanted to give you a quick update on this incident. There you go. Thank you, Anthony, for the banana peel. I really appreciate it. Consistency is key. So anyway, I'm just going through your comments real quick. What I wanted to say as well. Yeah, I've been seeing more and more people come under attack on YouTube and elsewhere because of the censorship, because of this affront, this assault on independent media. So I'm not sure who South Front is. Not familiar with them. However, I did see also, give me one second. I did see that Progressive Soapbox, right? Who was also reporting about the wheat being burnt in Syria by U.S. military. He's also been demonetized or something, apparently, which is a shame. So, you guys have to definitely go out and put pressure on YouTube, because it does help. It does work. So there you go. Patrick, thank you very much for the stickers. Thank you. Patrick is in the house making it rain. I love it, man. It's good to see you again. David, thank you so much as well. This is for the equipment fund. Free Palestine. Thank you, Habibi. The Tahrir Palestine. Man, it's so hilarious watching people well, I'm not going to open that whole can of worms again. I dealt, once you put people back in their place, don't touch it anymore. They don't deserve your time and attention. You guys already know what I'm talking about. Patrick, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it. Patrick is making it rain. Y'all show some love to Patrick. Alexander says we need leftists to stand in solidarity with people across the globe in the name of anti-imperialism. Yes, we do. To me, correct me if actually don't correct me. I know I'm right. But to me, a core element of calling yourself a leftist is being anti-imperialist, is having solidarity with the global South. You can't come along and just be concerned with so-called leftist policies that only concern you. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that's great that, you want to support universal health care. Wonderful. That's great that you want a Green New Deal, that you care about the planet. That's wonderful. But what's the point if, you stop there? It doesn't stop there. Either you are really in solidarity with the working class everywhere, or you're just in it for yourself. That's not okay. When I'm talking about what's happening to the global South at the hands of imperialists, I'm not just talking about Syria. I'm talking about Palestine. I'm talking to you about what's happening in Africa. I'm talking to you about what's happening in Libya. I'm talking to you about what's happening in Latin America. This is not, man, I told you, this is why people need to not only learn their history, but the history of colonization of the global South. This is not something that just, evaporated in 1945. They might tell you that at school, right? They might tell you that, everybody suddenly gained independence in the 1940s after World War II. No, they didn't. Not in the way that you think, okay? They're still being oppressed economically, financially. They have their, I mean, I feel like I repeat myself a lot, but I don't think you can repeat yourself enough when it comes to this, because not only do you have new people listening all the time, but it's just so fucking it makes me so angry that how can you just talk about this once and then shut up about it? That's ridiculous. Zen and James says, "This is why I'm starting to love your show. It's the very few YouTube channels that's focused more on foreign policy." Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah. So Giro 42 says, "Global South is a new term to me, but it made sense the first time I heard it." Okay, so let me explain this term to you. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the term third world. It grew to have somewhat of a negative connotation, which is actually stupid because correct me if I'm wrong, but when you had the Bandung conference in Indonesia, and you had the birth of the non-alignment movement during the Cold War, this is essentially developing nations who had decided that they don't want to fall neither into the Western NATO United States camp nor into the Warsaw Pact / Soviet Union camp. And you had a select couple of countries, who came to this conference and declared that they would now be calling themselves the non-alignment movement, right? Or the third world. But as time went on, it became bastardized, and now when you say third world, people think that you're talking about like some kind of underdeveloped country. And matter of fact, even if you are, why do you think these countries are underdeveloped? Who made them that way? Who stole their resources? Who colonized them for hundreds of years? Who oppressed their people? Who committed genocide against them? No fucking wonder they're underdeveloped. Guess whose fault that is? You fucking know. So, that's why you still have countries in development, because all of their resources, their riches, were literally stolen from them, plundered, and shipped across the globe over to the United States, to Europe. This is not something that has ended. Okay, you still have to this day transnational, multinational corporations plundering these very same countries. You still have the United States and their allies scattering military bases all over the planet in the name of democracy. They've just changed the names now, but it's the same relationship, right? Burnin' Man, thank you very much for your super chat. It says, "Would you interview Anthony Rock? He's an anti-imperialist right-end candidate running for Congress in Tennessee." Where man, I actually have a lot of people that I have to interview, so which is a blessing, alhamdulillah. That's actually a great thing. Whenever I hear somebody openly calling themselves anti-imperialist in the US, well, that's a rare thing. So I'll look into him, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have Dario Hunter on, because his foreign policy seemed a bit interesting. So yeah, I'll take a look, man, for sure. And I always encourage you guys to give me more recommendations of people you like to see interviewed on the show, because it's not like this is not a one-off thing. This is something that we do on the regular. So I'm just looking them up real quick here. So thank you for that suggestion. Thank you. Sam K, thank you very much for your donation. It says, "Just looked CNN's YouTube channel to see how they covered the US and Iranian airline. Got a good laugh. To them, it's a norm that we have a base in Syria and along with Israel flying in their airspace." Yeah, did you see like the condescending white supremacist position from which they depart when they address these kinds of issues? They don't even question what they're doing there. None. It's just by default. It is de facto normal for the United States to go wherever they want. This arrogance. This arrogance. Do you understand where I'm coming from now? and I understand this. I understand the mentality, right? Oh yeah. I understand it. I see it very clearly. I see it very, very clearly. It's nothing. Hey, thank you very much, Mona, for the super chat. Let me try and pull that up. 1 second. Oh shit! I just moved myself. Okay, hold on. Oh, that's much better. Okay. Okay, I think you guys can read that now. Y'all tell me if you can read that. So Mona says, Richie, I love when you talk foreign policy. You're the GOAT. Leo season. Thank you, Mona. Thank you. Keep speaking truth. I do have a question though. At what point, if ever, would it be okay for the US to get involved on a global scale? None. So would there ever be a situation where you would be okay with? Just curious. Love you, Richie. And I appreciate the quotation marks, right? So listen, seriously, it's so funny, like watching people whose brains are so. I'm trying to be diplomatic, but you know, there are a bunch of what's the expression we say in Arabic? هذول الناس جاي من ورا البقر, you know, from behind the cows, meaning they're they're ignorant as pig shit, and yeah, they just, it's so hilarious, right? They think that my name is not my name. Okay, I must confess, my name is Slim Shady. No, but seriously, like it's really hilarious. They're convinced, like there's some nut jobs on Twitter that have they got nothing to criticize, right? So they just going around saying, like, oh man, this guy, he's pretending to be Syrian, and you know his real name is not Richard. Oh really? Okay, well that's news to me. They're such clowns. What a pathetic fucking existence. Anyway, man, we're not going to give any attention to these morons. Listen, let me answer your question, Mona. You know, none. There is no situation in which the United States can be involved globally. I mean, look, if you're talking about sending the military, for example, which I think was the case, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you had the tsunami in what is this, December 2004, 2005, I can't remember exactly, but if I recall correctly, you did have Marines that went over and helped with the disaster relief. That's one thing. When you have countries that use their military for disaster relief, that is one thing. Most of the time, they're neutral countries, and they explicitly state that. But we know that that's not the case. You know, it's like a carrot, the carrot and the stick. It's like U.S. aid when they're giving humanitarian aid and foods to Egypt, for example. They're not doing it because they have a hard-on for Egyptians. They're doing it because they want to keep Egypt in handcuffs and make sure that they can't fuck around with Israel. So there's always a catch. Okay, there's always a catch. Make no mistake. There's a reason why Uncle Sam gives 1/5 of the combined humanitarian aid, okay, so in the world. So there's a reason for that. It's not out of the goodness of Uncle Sam's heart. Now, you know, you're gonna have people who are gonna come and answer this question that you just posed me with. What about World War II, right? Where you needed to have the U.S. step in, otherwise it would have been too much. And you know, well, look, first of all, the United States didn't want to participate in World War II. Okay, they didn't want to get involved initially, and you know, if you if you know your timeline correctly, from 1939, September 1st, until, what is this, about May, June, the following year, you had the phony war, right? And France, was decimated at this point. So the only person that was actually resisting Nazi Germany was Great Britain, was the UK. Now, by the time Russia got involved, okay, and the US subsequently, the UK had been opposing Nazi Germany on their own for about 2 years now. So they had put in a naval blockade. They were coordinating resistance efforts. They had, once again, the best navy at the time. And, the only thing that Uncle Sam wanted to do, the only thing that the US wanted to do at the time was make money, right? You had the Lend-Lease to the Soviets, and they were producing weaponry and manufacturing of arms for the British and the Soviets. And it was just a way to make money, but they didn't actually want to get involved until, you had Pearl Harbor. And then even with Pearl Harbor, you have, if you go and read military intelligence blunders and cover-ups, you'll see that they did have very clear warning signs that an attack was impending. So, you want to go put on your tinfoil hat, that's something else. But, even looking at the tally in 1940, at the end of the war in 1945, the Soviet Union killed 80% of German troops. 80%. 80% of German casualties were inflicted by the Soviet Union, not the US, not the UK. Now, yes, you can argue British intelligence and American industry helped. Sure, yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that the Soviet Union inflicted the most casualties on Nazi Germany. So, this idea that you sometimes you absolutely need Uncle Sam's help. No, that's bullshit. And, after World War II, they used the Marshall Plan. Now, when you open your history books, they'll tell you that, America wanted to help Europe rebuild really badly, and they, seeing Europe in such demise and destruction broke their hearts, and that's why they came up with the Marshall Plan. No, the Marshall Plan was just another way to get American multinationals and American companies into Europe and take over that market. That's what it's about. And on top of it, it was a fucking loan. It's not even like, there's always something nefarious behind it. The United States does not help anyone militarily, economically, or otherwise without a catch. And this is why, once again, you got to read your fucking history, and correctly, not the, vanilla brainwashed propaganda bullshit they teach you at school. So there's always a catch. There's always a catch. And, if you allow this, if you allow this line, this propaganda to be perpetuated always that, the situation is so dire in this particular region, therefore we have to get involved. You're never going to finish. Then it's always going to become an excuse. And that's exactly, literally, what is happening right now, what has been happening, right? There's always a fucking excuse. They'll always come up with an excuse. Always. Weapons of mass destruction, human rights violations. We have to go and make sure that, we protect American interests over here, but we're not really going to tell people that, and we'll just make up some other bogus propaganda and use Amnesty International to publish it. They'll always find a fucking reason for that. So no, I don't see any reason, especially after given the history of the United States, for them to be involved globally. No, this is, And even if you want to look at World War II through another lens, what it really boils down to, and this is true of World War I as well, this wasn't some, you have to understand, these were a bunch of capitalistic empires fighting each other for control over not just mainland Europe, but resources worldwide. Okay, remember at the time the UK had about 1/5 of the planet under its rule. The sun never sets on the British Empire, and every single empire, Belgium in the Congo, France also had so the UK and France had run down opposite axes. in Africa, and you had Southeast Asia also being plundered. I mean, these empires wanted to snuff each other out so they could co-opt and absorb the other one's resources and colonies. They weren't doing it out of the goodness of their fucking hearts. Okay, that's something to keep in mind. And matter of fact, even though the UK technically won the First World War and the Second World War, it bankrupted them, right? They were completely, absolutely bankrupted, lost their colonies, and now they're nothing but a shitty, wet island. So, that's also something worth noting, because they will never tell you that from this angle, right? They'll frame it as, oh, Uncle Sam and, Winston Churchill and La France Libre, they were so adamant about fighting fascists. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's good. That's great. They defeated the Nazis. But do not forget that they were also trying to fight for the survival of their empires. Never forget that, because that is also one of the biggest fucking issues. Okay? They wanted to make sure that they could hold on to their empires. This was very, very important at the time. So, I don't think, I hope that answers your question. There you go. Emblem Fate, thank you very much for the super chat. It says, independent media needs to push hard to break up the mainstream media and boost free thinkers. People should see Russian racist Maddow less and you more, Richie. Thank you, I appreciate that. And I do think that it is not too far-fetched to use the word racist when it comes to Rachel Maddow and all these Russiagators. I mean, no one stops for a second to question the entire premise of Russiagate, and not just Russiagate, but every time something allegedly nefarious takes place, it's always the Russians or the Chinese. Like this entire xenophobic, racist shit, right there in plain sight. Like, yeah, of course it's the Russians. Why is it, of course, the Russians? Why is it, of course, the Chinese? Why is it, of course, the Arabs? There is a very, I mean, to me, it's explicit, but there's a very, implicit racist, xenophobic undertone to all of this. Very clear. So anyway, and that's, you can thank the Cold War brainwashing for that. That's something America never got rid of. Internal refraction. Merci. Thank you for the super chat. It says, see Anthony certain on Wall Street and Soviet funding. I'm hold on a second. So I got Anthony Rock in one tab, right? And I got Anthony certain now in the other one. Thank you. Yes. Do you know what's actually something that a lot of people don't know? After the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917, I'm pretty sure they don't teach you this in school, but the UK and the United States, they fucking invaded Russia as a result of that. I'm not kidding, right? I think I told you this before. I did a segment on this. What did they dub it again? The something expeditionary force. I mean, just so some things don't change, right? There you go. Yeah, Sonia is right. So Sonia says there are many fake Palestinian scarves made in China. Indeed, they flooded the market with that, and even sold in Palestine too. Hirbawi is the last remaining factory in Palestine. When you want to get one, make sure it's Hirbawi. I actually casually mentioned that, like what is it, 2 months ago or a month ago, and a ton of you went out and bought siloks or kefies from Hirbawi. So I thank you a lot for that, for supporting not just a local business, but specifically one in Palestine under occupation. So that means something. It's the last one, I honestly don't know if this one comes from there. Again, I got this as a gift like 10 years ago or something, but I'm pretty sure it's an original because it you can tell them apart. And like you said, I mean, not just in Palestine, but even in Syria and Damascus, you got to watch out. You'll find Chinese ones too, which is a shame, man. Like, I mean, anyway. Yeah, of course, Sonia, of course. No, it's really good. Like there's tons of you that have gone out and bought them from there. So I'm sure they appreciate that. One second, I'm just trying to zoom out over here. I zoomed in way too much and I can't read. Just a second. So while it says Pearl Harbor was a false flag to enter the war, they knew that Japanese planes were going to raid Pearl Harbor, and the Americans didn't inform their troops about it, so they will find the excuse to enter war. Now, again, there are some people who make this argument, and in the book about, he again, I forgot his name, is a British colonel, and he wrote the book, and one of the chapters is Pearl Harbor, and he frames it as a blunder, that the naval intelligence reports weren't delivered fast enough. Now, nonetheless, I mean, you had a blockade, okay? You had a naval blockade on the Japanese, cutting them off from their oil, right? And so, I mean, it's just a question of time before they retaliated. So yes, you could definitely say that was, You don't have to be a rocket scientist to put two and two together, but there you go. And one of the things that was crucial for because you have to remember at that time, the American public were adamant about not getting involved in World War II. Right? They didn't want to have any part of it. So they were definitely profiting. They had the Lend-Lease and they're manufacturing arms, yes. And that's one thing. But being involved in combat operations, no. And okay, look, if you want, I mean, we'll go down Pearl Harbor. We'll go down the rabbit hole of Pearl Harbor another time. But those of you who know, you know. Khalas. So let me just see here quickly. So, 1 second, guys. Thank you very much for the super chat. Internal Refraction says they fund all sides, even the far right. Check out Noah Mingus account, Twitter and YouTube. Once again, when you guys suggest stuff, I put it aside and then take a look. And there's no surprise. If you go back and you look at, if you follow the money, okay, for a lot of German titans of industry and companies, that helped with the German war effort, you will not be surprised to find connections to the United States. So that's one thing. Bill, thank you for the super chat. It says, Richard, look at Rising's new segment called The Fallacy of White Supremacy. Please comment. Oh boy. Let me see.
Recent op-ed caught my eye, ran in the New York Post. It's called The Fallacy of White Privilege and How It's Corroding Society, examines whether or not white privilege exists. Talks about how our working definition of white privilege has some shortcomings that we might...
Okay, so let me just put this on for you.
Might want to consider. So joining me now is the writer and of that op-ed himself, Rav Aurora, to talk more about his op-ed. He's also a riser, so we're very happy to feature him here. Rav, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Huge
Absolutely.
fan.
So, Rav, tell me a little bit about the theses that you kind of came to here. It's a very provocative headline, and obviously the op-ed, went very viral and it was discussed widely. You have two things I think you wanted to say about white privilege. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, so there's two main definitions of white privilege that I see in the media, in journalism the most. And so I'll talk about those two. The first one is that white people are largely immune from racism. Therefore, they have white privilege. And I would push back on that just a little bit because I know I have white friends, for example, who have similar views as I do, such as, we need reasonable limits on our immigration system, but they get called white supremacists, racists, etc. Whereas I get cut a bit more slack because I'm not white.
Although I feel you on that one, my friend.
Although I get kind of seen as a reject or somebody who doesn't understand. But nonetheless, that definition is true. There is a certain kind of white privilege of not experiencing racism in some contexts. But I fail to see the importance of white privilege so much so for it to dominate our mainstream. I mean, there are truly infinite privileges, many of which are far more predictive, far more important than white privilege. I mean, there's temperament, there's geography, there's intelligence, age, health, wealth, education, culture, etc. And many of these are malleable. Many of these are more important than anything that whiteness is going to get you in society. And
so,
I mentioned in my sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Rob, let's stop there and let's talk about it because I think it's an interesting thing when you're talking about deterministic factors. Now, if we want to live in a more equitable society, what are some of the deterministic factors that a government might be able to target in order to make sure that we live in a more economically and racially just society?
Yeah, I mean, governments can only do so much, and I have deep suspicions of government.
All right. I'm going to stop you right there before I go any further. Just a quick question. Where are these two guys located? If I'm not mistaken, United States, yes? What government are they talking about? If I'm not mistaken, the United States, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but does this entire nation, does the US not exist because a bunch of white people came over, committed genocide against the indigenous population, and then on top of it, brought boatloads of slaves over from Africa to build their country up? and generate all of this wealth that they are basking in now? Why are you starting your thesis 400 years later? I'm curious, why you would ignore everything before that, which is directly linked to white colonists and imperialists coming over, imposing their way of life through murder, through genocide. Yes, so there's no mistake here of what's going on. Why is that part left out? Just curious. I'm just curious.
Just because of how governments have been terrible with things like the war on drugs, the war on poverty, and so I'm a bit skeptical about what governments can do. I mean, I still see in certain communities we need more opportunities for jobs. In some poor communities, we need more policing because the homicide rates are so high, especially right now. But one variable that is very important, a privilege that is very important, is having two parents in the household, and I touched on that in my piece. If you look at family structure, that's one of the greatest predictors for success, and that's why you see the poverty rate among married Black families has been lower significantly since 1994 than the poverty rate of white families as a whole. So when you stipulate just that one variable, you see very different outcomes, which suggests that there are other privileges that are far more important in our society, yet we fixate.
Okay, listen, man. Please, for the love of God, don't tell me he said more policing. How can you look at what's going on around you, especially as a person of color, and someone who I assume he deems himself somewhat of a scholar, yes? And then the rational response is, wow, this white supremacist oppression here, I think we need more of it, man. What the fuck? Yo. So, listen, man, someone needs to get this dude some help. It's not healthy to be a masochist. Okay? Why are you self-hating? Why are you self-hating, man? Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. Yeah. This is not me saying this. We have a plethora of investigations. We have a plethora of academic, peer-reviewed studies published that prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that being a white male accords you exorbitant amounts of privilege, of social mobility, of access to capital, of access to resources, of opportunities compared to any other demographic. This is an established fact. It's not something you can argue with. Moreover, he's talking about more policing. Police are infiltrated, are what's the word I'm looking for? Not ravaged. They're filled to the brim. I mean, you have military units flying SS flags. You have, police forces that don't even conduct. You have police forces that don't even do background checks or conduct investigations on who they're hiring. They're swarming. That's the fucking word I was looking for. Swarming. They're swarming with white supremacists. Just these last couple weeks, I've seen several videos of cops openly, in broad daylight, throwing up white power signs. What are you talking about? I mean, the people who make this kind of commentary, I think they're just looking for some kind of reaction because this is so childish and ignorant. It's astounding. It's really astounding. You're literally living in a country that is built on white supremacy. How can you be so fucking dumb to deny that? Never mind. You have 400 years, okay, after the fact of systemic oppression against anyone who isn't white. You have so much evidence, so much statistical, academic resources proving to you that this is a reality. Not just in America, by the way, but specifically in America. Come on, man. I mean, this is ridiculous. You know, this is really grasping at straws here, and I don't even know what fucking straws. I mean, it's really bewildering to me when I see people of color who are like adamant, who are dying to justify the status quo. For what? Dude, they're not gonna like you. I can assure you. You are not going to be liked by white people. Stop trying to please them. Motherfucker, I'm half white and they don't even consider me white. Okay? And anybody who's mixed can attest to that. If you are mixed, no one is ever gonna consider you their own. Okay? Stop trying to lick white people's ass. They're never gonna consider you white. Okay? Fucking forget it, man. I mean, listen, you know, even I can give you an example of white privilege that applies to me. When people read my name, okay, you know, if I went out and I applied for a job right now, okay, and they read my name and they see Richard Medhurst, that is going to invoke a completely different reaction than if they read, you know, Hassan Salim or whatever. Fadi Batata. Okay, it's gonna invoke a completely different reaction when they see a British English name than if they saw a Syrian name. Yes, but it kind of cancels out, because once they see that I'm born in Damascus, Syria, then they're like, oh. But like, let's be real. All right. Oh, I really don't have any respect for people like that. You know, this guy, you can go and lump him in with Candace Owens and the rest of them. By the way, did I see Nico is in the house? Nico's house is in the house. Nico, you still here, brother? That's good to see you. I love seeing Nico drop by. I love seeing Combo Couch drop by. It's such a pleasure. This is really dope. I don't know if he's still watching. But you know. These self-hating people of color who are trying so bad to please white people, just stop it. It's really embarrassing. Stop it. No. Hey, he's still here. Brother, it's so good to see you. I'm so happy to have you. We got to bring you on the show. You know, I think I've been 2 times on Nico's show and he never been here. Exactly, it's house within a house. but seriously, man, I mean, this guy, I don't know what his name is, but he's pretty mild compared to Candace Owens, and I think Sagar as well. He also kind of on that same wavelength, you know, like thinking that oh well, you know, white privilege doesn't exist, and That is such bullshit. That is such bullshit. White privilege exists worldwide. Okay, this is not even an American. What's the word I'm looking for? This is not even just unique to America. This is not just an American centric thing. It specifically is more than any other place. But it's not just, you know. Vraiment, parfois tu vois des conneries. C'est Hey, Nico also sending the super chat. Bro, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Slemli Habibi, shukran Habibi. And I got to bring you on the show soon, bro. Seriously, we got too much to talk about. And CA, I appreciate it. Thank you. Says a Russian spy has privilege here in America. Russian spy Butinia was embraced. Yo, speaking of Russian spies, who was I reading about the other day? The correct me if I'm wrong, the Rosenbergs. Yes, this couple who were giving off nuclear secrets to the US. To the USSR. And I mean that's about as real as any kind of charges get. But this Russiagate nonsense, this neo-McCarthyist crap, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna get into. It's exhausting. It really is exhausting. It's unbelievable. So there you go. Nico says, "Damn, I haven't heard shukran in forever." Yeah, you you know, you can say shukran, or in Syria, you know, you'd say teslemli aynak. Syrian is very poetic. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. I'm gonna have to start giving grammar lessons, and too many people have been asking me right now. So I have to start. Animal Farm says, throw the shoe at Sagar. Believe me, I will. There's nothing cool. There's nothing smart about defending the white status quo. I mean, this is not only is that a betrayal to yourself, not only is that a betrayal to other people of color, not only is that a betrayal to the global South, but it is a betrayal to your own intellectual honesty, if you have any. I mean, how can you are being purposely ignorant when you say shit like that? Like, oh, white privilege is not a shit. Who came up with this stupid argument? Do you even know your own fucking history? It's not even like it. You know, if it was just something that existed in the past, that would be like half an issue. Motherfucker, it's still happening now. Like, look around you. Oh man, they're gonna get me pissed off. I need some water before I get into the next shit, man. But seriously, like, I can tell you, man. I can tell you. Like, you know, there's people I went to school with. There's some of my closest friends who they got like French nationality, for example, or Belgian or British or whatever. Like they have a white, you know, a Western European nationality, and their names, because they have an Arabic name or a Muslim name, you know that they are put at a disadvantage when they're applying for a job or an internship or for a loan or an apartment. I know this. This is like the mildest fucking example. Never mind the people who are actually thrown in fucking jail and murdered because of white supremacy. I'm giving you the mildest example from firsthand experience. That's just one. And you know, this is once again an example of, dude, man, let me get a sip of my water. I'm dying of thirst. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. Sagar and this dude, whoever he is, or any person of color who comes and tells you that there's no such thing as white privilege, you know what that is? These are people who are not only being completely dishonest and lying to you through their fucking teeth, but on top of it, they've fallen into this myth, this trap of American exceptionalism. Because you know what they're going to end up telling you? You know what the conclusion is of that? You know what they're going to tell you? Already know. They're going to tell you, look at me. I'm not white and I'm doing good. What is that? This is the survivor bias, right? This is I got mine. Fuck y'all. I got mine. Humans are not really nice, unfortunately. And so you come across people of color who talk like this. They talk this kind of shit. You know, they're like, hey, look, I'm not white and I got mine. I'm doing good. Fuck all of you. I'm not gonna stand up on your behalf, because the system, one way or another, has worked into my benefit. I'm good. I don't accept that shit. That's some nasty, evil shit to behave and talk like that. That's selfish. It's dishonest and it's selfish. There's this I got mine attitude. No. And you know, and on top of that, the American exceptionalism, this lie that, oh, well, look, man, you know, if you just work hard enough and you pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Motherfucker, which bootstraps, first of all? You think people born into poverty got bootstraps to even pull them? Yeah, they're falling into this myth that, oh yeah, I have a 1 in a gazillion chance of becoming a billionaire. So because I have this 1 in a gazillion chance, you know what? Fuck everybody. Let's all suffer, and including myself, because I might make it. No, you're not. No, you've been sold a lie. You're spouting nonsense. And it's really a testament to how powerful and potent the brainwashing and the indoctrination is, right? Is brilliant. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. You know, the most successful thing that capitalists have ever done is brainwashing people into thinking that they can also become part of the ruling class. I mean, that's really their most potent achievement, I would say. Definitely. That's really their grandest achievement. Suckering the working class. So we got a couple of super chats over here. And hey, we got Combo Couch in here. Now this is the spot. Man, I'm so happy to see Nico. I'm so happy to see Combo Couch. Seriously, you guys know something? The first to ever bring me on their shows, Combo Couch and Nico. So, you know, I'm always grateful to you guys, and I love you so much. Seriously, that like, you guys need to know that. People who just sub, people who didn't know, you know now. Now you know. So let me just get through the super chats. I want to make sure I don't miss nobody. Man, I haven't even gotten into Bolivia. I haven't even gotten into Bolivia. So, OAT Poon says, motherfucking facts, no coconut zone. I don't know what that means, but I appreciate the super chat. So thank you, man. I really appreciate the support, guys. We also got another one from OAT Poon. Says, fuck white privilege, colorism, and all class hierarchy. Yeah, man. I mean, it's really something that extends beyond. Because look, another point that I want to make, right? People who are spouting nonsense like this and saying, "Oh, there's no such thing as white privilege." Their analysis is not only completely flawed and rooted in a lie, but on top of it, they stop at their own borders, right? Like, even if you wanted to play devil's advocate, which you cannot, but even if you wanted to play devil's advocate, what about the rest of the world? What about the rest of the world? What, you think that people outside the United States are not fucking human? You think there's no white people outside the US? How fucking dumb and ignorant can you be? How could you anchor your analysis based on a limited scope of time in history, and on top of it, geographically? I mean, this is peak ignorance. I can't deal with people like that, man. This is like, having a debate with a child. Nico says, I don't know if YouTube is ready for us to hop on together. You might get demonetized again. Shit. Yo, I'm sweating just reading that. It's true because, we're not holding back. We're not holding back. And that's what I love, man, because I keep telling people on the channel, there's only a handful of journalists and people in indie media who are even covering these topics. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's the thing. Like, we're not going to self-censor. We're not going to self-censor because no, it's out of the question. And so, we're on a higher risk, but we got to keep it 100, man. I'm not interested in covering some like milquetoast bullshit all the time. And yesterday, I think, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you saw what was going on Twitter, but I saw Nico posting about this, and I was posting about this too with AOC, right? So you had like You know what? I'm gonna just pull it up on the fucking screen. Like, let me just show y'all. Well, I'll just show you right here. I got so many tabs open just because I want to cover so many things. But let me just show you right here. So, all right, take a look at this, man. So, Dr. Cornel West, he posted something on Twitter, okay, and this caught my attention. I'm just going to read it to you real quick. So he said that there's no doubt AOC is already a leading candidate for a presidential run in 2024. The profound effect of the great Howard Thurman, Martin Luther King's mentor, and her experiences in Africa deeply shape and mold AOC's spirit and vision. Now, with all due respect to Dr. Cornel West, okay, who is one of the brightest, smartest, passionate intellectuals, not just in America, but everywhere, I had to answer to that. And I said, what is AOC going to do? She's going to drop biodegradable bombs on my cousins? Wow, I can't wait. Man, because look, this is something where a lot of voters, a lot of the populace, a lot of people who consider themselves interested in the current political climate, they turn a blind eye. They bury their heads in the sand, They want to give progressives praise. They want to worship the squad. They want to turn this whole thing into an entertainment sport. Now, on the one hand, there's 1% of me that can understand it because, after 40 years of neoliberal nonsense and you got 8 years of Bush and Trump and Obama, all of it. Yes, it's normal that you would cling to any sliver of hope when you see something fresh. But the problem is they're playing you, man. They're playing you. Not only have they not come through on a single campaign promise, but on top of it, they diverge in no way whatsoever from their neoliberal colleagues in terms of foreign policy. Whatsoever. It's always a game. It's always a facade. Okay? And so, to me, this is particularly concerning, man. When you're telling me that these people are the antidote to the duopoly, they're the antidotes to the Democratic Party, where is it? Like, based on what would she become president? What has she achieved exactly? What has she accomplished? What campaign promises did she deliver on? Moreover, how is she different from Obama and Trump and Bush and Bill Clinton and all of the goddamn presidents that you've had up until now on foreign policy? How? Progressives try to pitch themselves as, end the wars, end the wars. That's not enough. And even with that, they're full of it. They're full of it, man. And people, they're either willfully ignorant on this or they just don't pay enough attention. And you playing with motherfuckers' lives, man. This is not a joke, right? This is not a joke. When 60% of your budget goes to killing people, you should be asking yourself what the fuck that budget is doing. Because you paid for it. You fucking paid for it. So you better be concerned. Because not only are you being deprived of healthcare, infrastructure, climate change action, but other people are being fucking murdered. So, like, if you don't care about that, and that's kind of like a side back burner issue to you, what the fuck? And look, man, I showed you this. I showed you this underneath. This is AOC going out praising John McCain. What? Who does that? Why would you praise John McCain? This is absolutely infuriating. This is absolutely infuriating. She says, his legacy represents an unparalleled example of human decency and American service. What the fuck are you talking about? Human decency? When? When he was bombing people in fucking Vietnam? When he was throwing napalm on Vietnamese civilians? That's fucking human decency, you motherfucker? Or when he came into my country to give funding and weapons to jihadists who would cut my fucking head off if they got their hands on me? That's human decency to you? And you got leftists on Twitter who expect me to keep my mouth shut? Who the fuck are you? You don't know your fucking ass from your elbow, you ignorant motherfucker. You couldn't even put Syria on a fucking map. And you come and lecture me about how I'm supposed to swallow this incrementalism? And then when AOC goes and says that, oh, you know, Trump, he didn't withdraw from Syria the right way. There is no right way. There's one way. It's called get the fuck out and move your troops back inside your own borders and mind your fucking business. That's the only way. There is no slow or right or correct way to get your occupational troops out of someone's country. What? I'm not white enough for you to have self-governance? I'm not white enough for you to choose my own destiny? I have to tolerate your fucking troops inside my borders? What kind of imperialist shit is that? And then you want me to believe that she's different from Dick Cheney or Nancy Pelosi or Hillary Clinton. Take your head out of your fucking ass. I do not tolerate your incrementalist imperialist shit. I am not subservient to you. Do you understand? I will not tolerate armed occupation of my land. I'm not negotiating with you. This is not a fucking debate. Do you understand? We are not having a discussion. Get the fuck out means get the fuck out. And I don't care if it's AOC or Dick Cheney or whatever the fuck their name is. All right? I mean, the arrogance, this white supremacist attitude, they're like, oh, we know better. We know better. We'll pull out when it's the right time for us. Who the fuck asked you? What are you doing here in the first place? And I wish this was just about my country. Because, bitch, I can name dozens of countries going through the same shit. But you wouldn't know that because you don't know your ass from your elbow. And you think politics is some kind of entertainment sport. You think politics is some kind of worship of people who have given you nothing. How pathetic. You ain't even gotten a single policy from these people. Where's your Medicare for all? You are so pussy whipped and cucked that you don't even realize it. And then on top of it, you're defending the imperialist aggression, the armed occupation of people in the global south. Unfucking believable. That's the American left? That's the left. Oh shit. Oh wow. The left. Wow. Wow, y'all really funny, man. Y'all something else. Not to mention, we already know what she said about Venezuela, right? To her, she defers to party leadership. What does party leadership say? Sanctions, coups, military intervention, torture programs. That's what party leadership means. That's what Nancy Pelosi has been defending, okaying, approving, funding, and giving a blank check to for the last 30 years, right? Every single administration that she served under. So AOC is telling you that she is okay with illegal wars. She's telling you that she's okay with sanctions. She's telling you that she's okay with regime change. She's telling you that she's okay with that. She literally said that. She said, I defer to party leadership. She fucking said that, not me. You're okay with that? You're okay with that? You want to go and launch military coups in Venezuela. You want to put sanctions on people in Venezuela and kill them and cripple their infrastructure. Who the fuck are you? Who gave you that permission? Who asked you? Who said that you can be involved? I mean, the sheer arrogance. And then you got people coming along defending this kind of shit. Like, oh, well, you know, you got to cut her some slack. No, I fucking don't. No, I don't. I don't have to cut anyone slack. You are illegally occupying my country. You are illegally amassing troops on the Colombian border with Venezuela, launching military coups, putting sanctions on them, encircling them with a naval blockade. Why don't you cut us some fucking slack and take your head out of your ass? All right? I mean, seriously, the fucking arrogance of some people. Look, man, either AOC and all of these progressives are too dumb to work in government and deal with foreign policy, or they're complicit. Either way, I'm not going to sit around, and other people don't have to sit around and wait for you to wake up. All right? Fuck out of here, man. And so, you know, some that I wanted to show you too. This is something that Nico posted, which is absolutely on point. I mean, look, he said, I'm going to tell you all an indie journalist secret. Most of the progressive indie journalists are scared to cover how often AOC has dropped the ball because they are terrified of the backlash it will cause. Holding her accountable literally affects their bottom line. Straight up. Exactly. That's it. That's it, man. They're too scared to criticize her, to criticize Bernie Sanders, to criticize the squad, because it's going to alienate their base. Well, fuck that shit. You know, I'm not going to stay silent. I know that Nico's not going to stay silent. The people who are covering the shortcomings, I mean, that's putting it mildly. The people who are actually covering what these politicians are really getting up to, which is okaying and voting for all this neoliberal nonsense and never standing up to the party leadership, to the military-industrial complex, to big pharma, who have gotten you literally nothing and are okaying this imperialist agenda, we're not going to shut up. The fact that you would even expect that is insulting. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's true. It's true. The vast majority of indie progressive journalists are never going to criticize Bernie. They're never going to criticize AOC. They're never going to criticize the squad. You're in for a big shock when you wake up in 20 years and you realize you've been swindled by crypto neolibs. Y'all give me a second. I need to hydrate. And you know something that I mean, to me, this is so obvious that sometimes I forget. Unfortunately, it's not to other people, and I have to underline this. But you know, this whole idea, when Trump pulled out of Syria, you heard screaming and ranting and raving from AOC and people on the left about, oh, this is not the right way to do that, and you know, it's too fast, and we have to withdraw responsibly. We've been hearing that for 20 years in Afghanistan. How's that been working out? We've been hearing that for 20 years in Iraq. How's that been working out? This incrementalism. I have breaking news for you. People in the global south, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Syria, do not want to wait around for your fucking majesty to finally decide when you're going to leave our country. Okay? How fucking condescending and disgusting that someone would even utter that shit. And you know that she doesn't actually care about that because she has made zero mention. You will never hear AOC. You will never hear anyone from the squad. You will never hear anyone from the Democratic Party talk about Trump occupying Syrian oil fields so that he can starve Syrians from 25% of their wealth. Not a fucking peep will you hear from that. Let me just catch up with your comments, man. OAT says it's physically impossible to pull up on bootstraps. That's a good point. Whoever came up with that saying, figuratively and literally, got that wrong. So that's one thing. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat, Fate. I really appreciate it. John Coins says triggered. Well, you know, sometimes you gotta tell them the truth, man. And it breaks a lot of people's brains because, you know, if you take away this illusion that they live in a democracy, they don't. And if you take away this illusion that progressives are fundamentally and not substantially, substantially different from neoliberals and Republicans, you're going to break their brains because they have no alternative left. That's why they cling on to it so bad. Again, I'm not a psychologist, but I can imagine that plays a role. AOJ, thank you for the super chat, says, don't ever compare this so-called revolution to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. That's how you get policy done. I've never seen any progressives do what they did. Exactly. And that's what I was talking about before yesterday. I was talking about how they were unbrazen, unfiltered, uncensored in their critique. You know, Malcolm X, don't give a fuck, man. He sit down with a white host, with a white guest in public, in front of a white audience on white TV, and he tell them to their faces, like, you motherfuckers are devils. You are evil. You are imperialists and you are thieves. And that's what we need. And you're never going to see that from these pussy whipped progressives. That's bullshit. That's placating the left and the working class and people of color and African Americans and everybody who's been subjected to these injustices over hundreds of years and that are still ongoing, right? This is not something we're even done with. That's really something that blows my mind when you see, like, not just Cornel West, but other people in general, like comparing the left wing of the Democratic Party to real revolutionaries. Why do you think they got killed? Because they were on some real shit. When you're doing your job properly, when you're speaking real truth, you won't last in an environment like Washington, D.C. That's how do you get what I'm saying? These people that are working in D.C. as progressives, they're careerists, man. Make no mistake. You know, they knew how to market themselves, and that's it. What a shame. What a shame. I refuse to get in line. John, I refuse to get in line. No goddamn way. No goddamn way. But seriously, like, it's really the level of disrespect that you have. Again, the worst part is you can't even see their real names or nothing. Like, they're just a bunch of trolls. But the condescending tone, the level of disrespect, of arrogance, of this American exceptionalism, like, be quiet, you Arab. We will decide when we finally leave your country. There's a correct way to do this, which obviously you don't know because you're not American. So don't criticize the enablers of imperialism. We know better than you. Oh, you in for a big surprise, bitch. Oh, you in for a big surprise. That's what it's like listening to progressives when they talk about foreign policy. Exactly what it is. Just 1 second. I want to make sure that I didn't miss nobody, because I got 15,000 windows open over here and I'm getting lost, man. God bless you guys. God bless you all. It's good to be in great company. It's good to be in great company. OAT Poon says at least they embolden youngins to be more radical. I mean, man, it's not even a question of radical because, you know, in the United States, when you have basic human decency and empathy for your fellow man, to them, that's radical. You know, like just wanting to have universal healthcare is radical. Brainwashing is very potent. Oh, yeah, I'll give him that. Bill, thank you very much for the $10. Says, sorry this has upset you. It upset me too. I think I might have misspoke. I think there might be a subtle difference between white supremacy and white privilege. Both ugly though. Oh no, don't worry, man. Don't worry. I mean, I'm not upset. I'm just, it's fervor, right? I mean, if you see what's going on in the world and it doesn't provoke a reaction out of people, man, like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? It's heartbreaking. Look, man. When I see what's happening in the U.S. Just in regards to healthcare, that's a minor issue, right? I haven't even gotten into the police brutality, the racism, the genocide, the prison industrial complex. I mean, we covered that on a regular basis. But just to give you an example, just the healthcare aspect pisses me off so much, and I'm not even affected by that. Even though I do have family and friends in the US, and so I know these stories firsthand, but still, like, I'm pissed off. Like, why is this the case? This corporate capitalist disgusting greed, right? And then it's compounded. It's compounded with the other issues, making it worse and worse and worse. Like, everybody should be pissed off about this shit, right? This is once again when, you need to have solidarity between the working class worldwide, because the exploitation is the same. The killing is the same. It's just the names and the flags that change. Do you get what I'm saying? Literally, man. It's so we got to have solidarity with each other, and that's why I wanted to do a big segment on Bolivia in a second, because this shit is just infuriating. So there you go. Convo Couch, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. It's so good to see you guys here. I love you. I love you. Fireboy, thank you. I appreciate it. And says, end all the wars, free humanity. There are some people who what's the phrase I'm looking for again? Yeah, they'd rather see the world burn just to make a buck, unfortunately. And I think they're not going to stop on this planet. We'll get into that in a second, though. But you're absolutely right, man. And this is the thing which angers me a lot, is that we have institutions now after World War II, like the UN, like the EU, that proclaim, that profess that they're ingrained in the values of cooperation, of mutual respect, of diplomacy, and yet we're seeing none of that. And that's a fucking shame. That's a fucking shame. Levon Huey, thank you for the lovely sticker. I really appreciate it. And also, Mona sent me a lovely super chat. I think I can pull it up. Y'all can see that? Yeah, I think y'all can see that. So, Mona says, God damn it, Richie. Trying to enjoy watching that show Space Force on Netflix. I haven't seen it. Isn't that with Steve Carell? I haven't seen it yet. And it was full of anti-China / Russia propaganda. And I'm like, ugh. I can't even enjoy shit anymore. So thank you for that. My ass is still going to watch it though. See, I opened your eyes, girl. I opened your eyes. I'm good. No, but listen, That's one of the milder ones. You know why? Because I think it was Amazon. They did a new show called Jack Ryan with speaking of The Office, right? Not Steve Carell, but what's the guy who plays Jim? What's his name again? The guy who plays Jim? Jim from The Office. Anyway, he plays this special agent called Jack Ryan, and it's just the most disgusting. Like, I watched the trailer and I already knew. I just saw the trailer and I was like, this is some garbage that came straight out of the DOD. It's the most brazen propaganda against Venezuela that I've seen in recent years. It's so ridiculous. And the problem is, you know what the worst part is, man? So many people fall for this shit. It's unreal. So many people fall for this shit. They really do. They really do. Because, you know, they have blind faith that whatever comes out of the speaker box, the radio, the television, the man speaking the BBC accent there, boy, yes? I sound very intellectual when I speak in this manner. Therefore, you must trust every word that I speak. And believe our cause. They just eat that shit up. And, you know, I pointed out before how important the role of Hollywood is in U.S. imperialism. I mean, it's actually twofold. It's twofold. You know, when you look at a country, at a superpower, you try to dissect and categorize what makes them a superpower, right? So, okay, you want to look at the United States. They have enormous landmass, very powerful military, very powerful economy, and that's hard power. But when you look at the soft power that they have, I mean, this is not often talked about, but Hollywood plays a big role in that. Yes, best believe, man. You know, the way that America also dominates worldwide, globally, is not just with their 900 military bases, it's also culturally. Do you understand? I mean, the fact that the UK colonized 1/5 of the planet and made English the official language in like 50 countries is one thing. But on top of it, movies, music, this stuff helps to maintain US hegemony, right? It's an industry. Not an accident. It's no accident that it's that powerful. And on top of that, if you make a pro-war movie, you get helicopters for free. I'm not kidding. Go look this up. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is open fact. It's a program. It's an official government program. Look it up, man. The DOD will give you helicopters, tanks, military surplus, anything you need, right? From various eras too. You can go make a Vietnam movie or a World War II movie. They got that shit too. They got Hueys. They got the Willis Jeeps. They got everything, man. They'll give you M1 Garands too. They got all this shit just for you, for free, if you make a pro-war movie. Yes. Oh, yes. Not to my surprise, Platoon and the Deer Hunter were not recipients of this program. For those of you who don't know, those are excellent. I mean, they're not just excellent movies from a cinematography point of view and acting. You know, Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, Charlie Sheen, Johnny Depp, Forrest Whitaker, Willem Dafoe. I mean, these are A-list actors, right? They're magnificent actors. But on top of it, they're very potent anti-war movies, right? Go watch Platoon. Go watch The Deer Hunter if you haven't seen them. And these are absolutely magnificent pieces of art and really, really controversial at the time. Because, you know, you'd have students coming out doing anti-war protests all the time. And you had a very strong anti-war movement, but thankfully, some people with balls, like Oliver Stone, for example, went out and made movies too, with their resources, you know, and did what they could to bring this to a bigger, larger audience and show the other side. Vietnam was the first war that was televised to begin with, so it's not like you could easily hide what was going on over there. But the mainstream media tried. They tried. But these movies are very potent. Go watch them. The Deer Hunter and Platoon. These are just two examples. I'm just talking about Vietnam here. So there you go. John says hot garbage. I don't know what you're talking about, but if you are complimenting me, I appreciate it. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, once you got your eyes open to the propaganda, it's really hard to turn it off, man. It really is. You know, you see right through it, and it's not nice. Yo, we got a lovely super chat over here from my man Anthony. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Anthony says, as backdrop to this conversation, know that the United States has rules and tariffs aimed at prohibiting conflict minerals, but that customs and border protection selectively enforces its penalties against corporations. Problem long before Trump or even DHS. So, yeah, I mean, very interesting you brought this up because you already know what we're going to address in a second. But yeah, dude, look, you want to get into the smuggling trade? The fucking plundering that has happened to Africa, I mean, under the white Western colonialists is an atrocity for the fucking ages. And the people, once again, I keep repeating this because people don't want to recognize what's going on. Multinational, transnational corporations belonging to the same countries. I'm talking French companies. I'm talking German, British, and American, of course, Belgian. They are all complicit to this day in plundering these very same countries, in coming in, installing themselves, extracting all this mineral wealth and giving, tiny cuts to the local populace or the local government, and maintaining these people in poverty. So colonialism has not ended. It's just got a new name, and it's the same relationship and dynamic. It's just being run out of sight now, right? Because these countries are now no longer empires. They're supposedly democracies. Very convenient. But yeah, we're going to get into that in a second. OAT Poon 1312. I'm not sure which one to call you, but thank you very much for the super chat. It says Wolf of Wall Street was funded by stolen 1MDB money. It was? I heard that the guy, again, I forgot the dude's name. The guy that DiCaprio is playing. I heard that he got out of jail too. And, no surprise when you screw over the working class. Once again, you serve you get a slap on the wrist, and after 2 months they let you out. What a messed up multi-tiered justice system. Again, every time I try to say two-tier justice system, I'm reminded that it's not two-tiered, it's like 3 or 4 tiered, and I'm like, which one are we going with? But listen, guys. Quick intermission. Do not go anywhere because we have explosive stuff to cover in a second. Okay, so don't go anywhere. I haven't even gotten to my main segment, so don't you move. All right, but we'll be right back in just a jiffy. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. All right, guys. I haven't plugged the show so far. I know I'm here for the politics. So there's really simple way, man. Get your phones out, scan the QR thingy, man. And just support the show, bitch. I want to talk about politics. I want to move on to the politics. So let me just plug the show real quick as fast as possible. Moreover, if you would like, you may come along over to the Patreons and help out over there. Whatever you like. $2, $5, $7 a month. Man, I'm telling you, this is like the only way that we can get notifications out. All right, so every time we go live, I'm posting on here and people getting emails, which is great. All right, and we're almost on our way to hitting that goal, to get into the 300. Check this out. Let me show you. Boom. Look at that. We almost there, baby. Almost there. We 22 members away. We can do this. And as always, I would implore you to sign up on Rockfin as well, because it's free. And you just hit the sign up button and then follow, and then you don't miss no videos. See, we're live over there right now as well. And all the segments are being uploaded here as well, just in case. We want to have a second base to be safe. We got a lovely super chat over here from Nikolai. He says, then when you get out of jail, you can write a book and make a movie to profit from your crimes. What a system. So I'm not really sure who you're talking about specifically, whether it's OJ or The Wolf of Wall Street, which I think is emblematic of how messed up the system is, Why the hell not? Just let criminals run free, man. You know what happened to the people of Wall Street. You already know. Cut loose. No charges. Nothing whatsoever. So there we go, guys. There we go. Now the next segment, actually every single one of them should piss you off, but this one is definitely going to piss you off. I can't wait. I cannot wait to see your reaction on this one. It is not going to be pretty, man. Hey, also thank you very much, Colin, for the thank you for the Venmo. It says, fuck YouTube. A segment with you, Nico, and or Convo Couch would be lit. We stand. You know it will be lit, and you know we're going to do it. I really appreciate it, brother. And look at this. We also got a new Poppy's pal. Y'all show some love to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Crab Dance incoming just for you, baby.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line, claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Cut that bitch off.
Why you texting? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, baby. It's not a stream if we don't have a crab dance. Y'all already know. So thank you so much to Elizabeth. I really, 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 really appreciate it. And you already know everybody appreciates a good crab dance. That's what we're here for, man. So check this out. It's getting heated. It's getting heated. It's getting absolutely heated. Look at this. We are already at 279. 21 members away. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. Now, before I get into the next segment, make sure that you smash, that you throw a shoe, that you beat up the like button. It helps with the algorithm, okay? So, okay, let me show you what's going on now. I mean, this is something else, man. This is really something else. Okay. I'm just sorting through this. Here we go. Y'all ready to be angered? Oh, you are not going to be happy about this. So, you guys remember the PPP money? Yes, this is the money that was supposed to be allocated to small businesses to help them weather the storm throughout this pandemic. And I remember covering how I think it was the fourth stimulus package allocated money to lobbyists. Yes, the very people responsible for the rampant corruption of your political apparatus. Moreover, not just lobbyists, but dark money groups, or as they like to call themselves, political advocacy groups or whatever it is. Dark money groups would also be getting PPP money. I mean, we're talking about people who make millions a year, who have absolutely no need for this stuff. But this is part of the grand scheme, the overall scheme of screwing you over, the worker, the working class, making sure that even during a global pandemic, you will get no health care, you will get crumbs, and you will sit there and you will enjoy it, and you will like it, and you will praise AOC and the squad for screwing you over and giving the largest amount of wealth ever to the oligarchs, to the 1%. How nice. It doesn't stop there. You want to know who else got some of your nice taxpayer money? You know who else got some of that? Oh, buckle up. Buckle up, baby. Friends of the Israeli Defense Force lobby group secures a forgivable U.S. COVID loans for Israeli soldiers. Look how sweet. They even took a photograph to say thanks. You can't make this up. You literally just paid Israel coronavirus money. You literally just gave the Israeli Defense Force your small business money. So a nonprofit organization that quote unquote provides for the well-being of soldiers of the IDF was awarded a $2.5 million forgivable PPP loan by the Small Business Administration. The Friends of Israeli Defense Forces is the only organization authorized to represent the IDF across the US and Panama, where they have 20 regional offices and a PO box in New York. So their loan was filed under the category of quote-unquote religious organization, despite the NPO being listed as a Y12 organization under the IRS classification system. Okay? So that way they could be tax exempt on top of it. Unbelievable. So the Friends of the IDF is the largest donor organization to the IDF, and its CEO, 33-year IDF veteran, Major General Khlifi Amir, receives an annual salary of over $1 million. And this guy served as Netanyahu's military secretary before retiring in 2010. So, questioned about the untoward bonuses of $500,000 he was given by the NPO, Khalify justifies it by asserting that he manages to raise 3 times as much as the second largest organization, and claims the job is one that nobody is enthusiastic about, despite perks like flying business class as part of his contract. Oh, so what a poor soul. He has such an uncomfortable job making $1 million a year. The New York-based 501c3 organization raises the vast majority of its average annual haul of $113 million over the period of Khalify's tenure through extravagant gala events and functions attended by major celebrities like Barbra Streisand, Larry King, and Arnie. What a shame. So last October, they raised $37 million from New York real estate leaders, right? And they also had a Night of Heroes event, which featured a delegation of 20 IDF soldiers and several high-profile guests. How nice. How wonderful. So, you guys, the American taxpayers, not only do you give Israel, the Zionist occupation, $3.8 billion of your taxpayer money every single year, but on top of it, they even screwed you during a pandemic. What am I supposed to say? You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. You just gave them $2.5 million. And by the way, the $3.8 billion that you give them every year, you can thank Obama for that, not Trump, because this was actually hashed out in 2016, if I recall correctly. Yes? So they finalized the deal to give Israel $38 billion in military aid over the course of 10 years. So $3.8 billion every year. Wow. Wow. Isn't that nice? So you, the American worker, you got a one-time check of $1,200, peanuts, crumbs. You got no health care. You got no social safety nets. You got screwed, even though you have more resources and more wealth than any other country on the face of the planet. And on top of it, your money went to another country. So on top of feeding your own oligarchs, it went to another country. And to add insult to injury, the IDF, who are akin to a terrorist organization. You know, speaking of the IDF, I'd like to show you where your money went and what they do with your money. Are you ready? I think you're owed. You're owed that, yes? I think you're owed an explanation, aren't you? So would you like to see where your money goes? Here, take a look. So these are undercover forces, right? And what they do is they dress up like Palestinians. They wear civilian clothes. They're basically undercover soldiers. Yes? They run around with guns. They harass, kidnap, arrest, beat up, brutalize Palestinian men. Here, take a look. Did you see that? Did you see the Palestinian man having the living daylights kicked out of him by these undercover IDF and the ones in uniform? That's what American taxpayer dollars go to directly.
لا في الكاميرا يلا تبارك
أني لايف
There's another man being carted away. You can see them holding up their pistols in the air to indicate that they're part of the undercover operation. The only democracy in the Middle East. Wow. Wow. Amazing, right? How pleasant, how charming. I mean, this pales in comparison to what happens to Palestinians on the regular, right? I mean, it's part of it, but they openly bomb Gaza, control their water, electricity, their food. They openly execute people on the street, even if you're disabled. I covered the story of Iyad Halla and others. And this is what American citizens pay for. $3.8 billion a year. Oh, and make no mistake, they have universal health care. Oh, yeah, they take care of their own. Yeah, they have universal health care. You don't. So this is what American taxpayer dollars pay for. And on top of it, even during a pandemic, small business loan money ends up in their hands. But go ahead, please, by all means, go ahead and defend AOC and Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders. They're doing so well, aren't they? They're doing right by you. They're doing right by Palestinians. Thank you so much for contributing to the continued oppression and genocide and ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people. Very, very appreciated. But you won't see this on CNN. I can guarantee you that. So there you go. And I mean, not to mention that you have several grant programs that have been set up in the United States, specifically where local police departments can apply and they will receive training from none other than the Zionist occupation. So it doesn't require a rocket scientist to put two and two together why you see the same tactic of applying one's knee on someone's neck in the US. That, when you saw George Floyd being murdered, when you see people being arrested in the street and police putting their knees on their necks to cut off their oxygen supply and choke them, even when they're in the handcuffs, even when they're already restrained. That's training from Israel. And you pay them for that training too. How lovely. How fucking lovely. Wow. Some democracy, right? And I want you to understand something. This is not some one-off thing. This is the status quo. This is daily life for Palestinians. I'm not saying that as hyperbole. I'm not saying that to exaggerate. No, literally, this is daily life. This is day-to-day how Palestinians live under the illegal occupation by the Zionists. Every single day. And this isn't even the killing. You haven't even seen the killing. This is just the brutalization. As if either one is okay. These people have no authority. They have no international right to do this. They have no legal right to do this. They have no moral right to do this. They are illegally occupying Palestinian land. It's not a conflict. It's not a war. It is a military occupation of the Palestinian people. What is their crime? They threw a rock. They threw rocks. Even if Palestinians had drones and tanks and aircraft carriers, it is their legal right to resist occupation by any means necessary. Remember that. Carve that into your brain and never forget that. That is their legal right under international law to resist armed occupation using any means necessary. That is a fucking fact. It could not be more explicit. So, I think we got... Hey, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Urban? Y'all show some love to Urban. Thank you so much for signing up to support the show. Crab Dance incoming just for you.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Cut that bitch off.
Why you texting? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
Thank you very much for supporting the show. We are at 280 right now. Absolutely incredible. I can't thank you guys enough. We're 20 members away, which is a huge milestone, and I'm so grateful to you guys. They can't stop us, man. We ain't gonna stop. We're gonna keep going. Look at that, beautiful. 280, 20 members away. We got 151 of you watching. We're just about to get into our main segment. If you can support the show, please, by all means, go ahead. You can support for as little as $1 a month, $2 a month. It don't matter. The biggest advantage is that you're going to get notified. YouTube has a habit of not sending notifications when people go live, especially when you're a smaller channel that does real news. So this way, I've been posting on Patreon every single time we go live. It gets you an email in your inbox, and then you won't miss any of the live streams. All right, so definitely go on ahead. Do whatever you like. You can pick any custom amount. It doesn't have to be 2 or 5. You can put in 3, 1, anything. A gazillion. It's all good. It's all good. So thank you so much. Claudia is dropping the links in the chat, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. So we got a couple super chats that I missed. Hey, AJ Love. Let me thank you for the super chat. AJ Love says, hey, you're so great and smashing and amazing and the GOAT. Why you try to make me blush during the live stream? Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you, and I really, really appreciate that. I'm very happy and glad that you are enjoying the show and the information that's being broadcasted. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Alicia, thank you so much for the lovely sticker. Right back at you. That is amazing, and I hope I did not miss anybody, but I think I got everybody. Hey, we got a new member on Patreon, Sean. Y'all show some love to Sean. Thank you very much. Here is the crab dance dedicated just to you.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Cut that bitch off.
Why you texting? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
Hey, thank you so much to Sean. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Look at that. Look at that. We already over the 280 mark. I love it. I love it. AJ says, you didn't recognize me. Oh, cold-blooded. I recognized you now. I recognize you now, girl. Don't worry. We out here. Oh man, I love you guys. I'm so angry about this next segment that I've been saving it for the end because it's just, unconscionable and oh boy. But you guys are amazing. Look at that. We already at 281. Once again, if you want to support the show, pick anything you like and you'll get the notifications from now when we go live. So thank you so much, guys. So there we go. Audio's good. Okay. Just making sure I got everything open. All right, wonderful. So you guys know we covered the military coup that took place in Bolivia back in October 2019 when Evo Morales was ousted, was removed by the military, and through support of the United States with their Cold War organization known as the OAS, the Organization of American States. So essentially, just to give you a very quick, brief background of what happened, Morales had been running the country for about 13 years, if I'm not mistaken, and there was a referendum on whether presidents should have term limits or not. Okay, the people voted that yes, you should have term limits. However, Morales appealed this at the Supreme Court, and the Bolivian Supreme Court said that nope, there are no term limits. You can run. So he did, and he won. And you had people in this right-wing opposition in Bolivia, and the OAS, the Organization of American States, which is a Cold War era institution based in Washington, D.C., receives most of its funding from Washington, D.C., they made these false allegations that the election results were rigged, okay? Because Morales needed a 10% overhead to avoid a runoff. And they essentially accused him of fraud, and then all of a sudden you had government buildings being burnt down. You had even his sister's house being burnt down. He refused to resign because he had won the election legitimately. At the end, he was forced to flee. He fled to Mexico, and I think now he's in Argentina. And what's really interesting is in December, so this is about 2 months after the coup, he sat down with Glenn Greenwald, and even back then at the time, he told him straight up that the real reason behind this coup was about Bolivia's resources. Okay, so Bolivia has extraordinary amounts and reserves of lithium. Now, let me just show you this clip very quickly from that interview.
Sino una conspiración externa. Mi delito, mi pecado, ser indio. Y segundo, como movimientos sociales, haber nacionalizado los recursos naturales, quitar las transnacionales, hidrocarburos, tema de minería, pero además de eso, haber reducido la extrema pobreza con programas sociales. ¿Sabe? Detrás del golpe de Estado estaba transnacionales, Estados Unidos, por tema del litio.
Lithium has become incredibly important for electric cars both in China and the US.
Se sabe muy bien, la ciudad de Potosí, un grupo de cívicos empezaron a cuestionar la industrialización del litio. Bajo una licitación pública internacional, se adjudicaron ser socios, algunos prestar servicio, China y Europa mediante Alemania. Ya empezamos la industrialización, ya estamos exportando cloruro de potasio. El próximo año tenemos que inaugurar carbonato de litio que produzca 350,000 toneladas al año. Tenemos plantas pilotos. De este proyecto energético, que es futuro del mundo, que esté fuera de Estados Unidos, no aceptaban que indios, movimientos sociales, obreros, con profesionales, seamos actor en la liberación del pueblo mediante el litio. Ese es nuestro pecado en el fondo, que muchos no comentan. ¿Cómo Estados Unidos puede estar fuera de esta gran industria, sus transnacionales? Y nuestros acuerdos con China, con Europa.
And this is very important to understand. Okay, we know that there was no election fraud. This report that was issued by the OAS saying that there were inconsistencies with the results and that Morales had rigged the election is all complete BS. Yet at the time, as expected, all of the mainstream media news outlets in the West framed it as, oh, look, the Bolivian people are standing up for their liberation against the corrupt Morales regime, and he falsified the results of the election. They're illegitimate. The OAS verified this. And oopsie, a few months later, the New York Times admits that, oh, they got it wrong. It turns out that the election wasn't rigged. And, they made some miscalculations when they crunched the numbers. Something I also covered a few months ago, right? A bitter election, accusations of fraud, and now second thoughts. See? Same thing that they did with Iraq. They kept pushing this propaganda that Iraq had WMDs over and over and over again. Even Condoleezza Rice writing a piece in there, making the case for war. And then after they've already invaded Iraq and destroyed it, the New York Times are like, oh, oops, yeah, maybe we should have been a bit more vigilant or something, and done our jobs. So it's very important for you to understand what's at play here. These lithium reserves are no joke. Okay, so just 1 week before this coup, turns out Evo Morales had canceled an agreement that Bolivia had made with a German company. All right. Now, this German company is called ACI Systems Alemania. Okay. So Morales on November 4th canceled the December 2018 agreement with Germany's ACISA. After weeks of protests from residents of the Potosi area, the region has 50% to 70% of the world's lithium reserves in the Uyuni salt flats, in the Salar de Uyuni salt flats. Among other clients, ACISA provides batteries to Tesla. Tesla stock rose Monday after the weekend. And it didn't just rise after the coup. Oh no, it's been rising ever since. It's actually risen 600% since this coup. 600%. Tesla stock was valued at around 250. Now look where it is. That's not a coincidence. That is by no means a coincidence. Okay. Now this is an old video from Bolivia, right? From their state lithium company 1 year before the coup, about their new plant. Take a look.
La planta industrial de cloruro de potasio es la tercera más grande de la región.
Estamos produciendo.
Yacimientos de litio bolivianos. Industrializamos con dignidad y soberanía.
I mean, this thing is enormous. Okay, you can see it from space. Okay, these salt flats are absolutely enormous. We're talking about tremendous wealth. And Morales' plan, which has been his policy throughout his tenure, is to redistribute the wealth to the people, right? So, looking here, let me zoom out for you. It might be a bit too big. There you go. I mean, Morales' plan from the beginning has been very clear. Transnational, multinational companies are not allowed to come into Bolivia, rip off Bolivia's resources, screw over the Bolivian people, and then keep plundering unconditionally. He wanted a redistribution of the profits from these lithium exports to the miners, okay, and the people involved in the lithium mining. So, this redistribution of wealth, when corporations realized that they were not going to be able to screw over the country, they went to Argentina, they went to Chile, and thought that they could, keep their lithium imports coming from there. Now, what I find very interesting, okay, I keep losing the connection. I think we're back now. Okay, fine. So, listen, man. So not only did these right-wing oligarchs work with the OAS and the United States to get rid of Morales, but on top of it, the interim president, Janine Áñez, openly has invited Elon Musk to come to Bolivia and essentially help plunder their resources. Okay, so the foreign ministry sent them this letter, I think it was on April 31st of this year. And you all know that Tesla's batteries for their cars, I mean, this is a crucial element that that will disrupt production. I mean, Elon Musk wouldn't even close the factories during a pandemic. Okay, he wouldn't even close the factories during a pandemic. And I want to show you just something that he posted on Twitter. Okay, this was yesterday. Take a look at this. So he's referring to, so he said, another government stimulus package is not in the best interests of the people, in my opinion. And then Armani tells him, you know what wasn't in the best interests of the people? The US government organizing a coup against Evo Morales in Bolivia so you could obtain the lithium there. And look what he says. We will coup whoever we want, deal with it. I mean, if you needed any more proof that this guy is an imperialist, capitalist son of a bitch, look no further. Not only does his family's wealth come from apartheid, come from these emerald mines in South Africa, but on top of it, he refused to shut down his Tesla factory during the pandemic, risking his workers' lives. And then he's openly admitting now, that the coup in Bolivia was so that he could get his hands on the lithium needed for batteries in Tesla cars. Zero shame. Are we surprised? This has become part of the norm now, right? They don't even bother hiding it. You know, Trump also brazenly, openly says, look, we're in Syria for the oil. Yeah. We're in Syria for the oil. He just openly admits it. And this clown over here, this imperialist pig, openly admitting that Morales was removed so they could get their hands on the lithium. Not even trying to hide it, man. Not even trying to hide it. Absolutely disgusting. And it's not the only thing. What do you think is going on in the Congo as well? You ever heard of coltan? They use children to mine that stuff. He has no shame. This guy has absolutely no shame. And what is absolutely staggering is the willful ignorance, the denial by a large swath of people that this is real. Like, to them, this is some kind of joke. Like, as if the United States has never intervened and illegally bombed other countries and militarily and occupied them with their military in order to steal and plunder their resources, right? Like the United Fruit Company, Guatemala, or going into Iraq for the oil, which is now controlled by US multinationals. I mean, this is nothing new. What a shameless piece of shit. What an absolutely shameless piece of shit. So I want to show you the response from Evo Morales himself, okay? I want to show you his response. So what he says, and this is a loosely translated, so you'll forgive me, but he says that Elon Musk, the owner of the largest electric car factory, says regarding the coup in Bolivia that we will coup whoever we want, which is even more proof that the coup was for Bolivia's lithium and 2 massacres for payment. We will always defend our resources. I mean, the treatment what they did to this dude is absolutely unbelievable. US imperialism knows no bounds. It is absolutely, completely shameless. And once again, it's not new, right? Not just the United Fruit Company or the oil in Iraq. I mean, even Patrice Lumumba in Congo was assassinated. Eisenhower ordered him assassinated because he wanted to bring in Soviet troops. And at the time, you know, during the arms race, during the Cold War, getting your hands on uranium, getting your hands on the necessary ingredients to make nuclear bombs, you would have had Russia and Congo monopolizing that essentially. So it's always about resources. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. When Israel occupies the Golan Heights illegally, it's not just a military strategic point. It's also to get their hands on the oil. It's to get their hands on the water. Even has snow up there. Yeah, they go skiing. They have nice little ski resorts on Syrian land. It's always about the resources. But then they want to come and tell you that it's about democracy. And then they want to come and tell you it's about human rights. And then they want to come and tell you it's about election integrity. It's got zero to do with that. And they're just not even hiding it anymore. It's right there in plain sight. Right there in plain sight, man. That it's totally okay for the United States to back right-wing armed opposition groups, to conduct military coups, overthrow democratically elected presidents, and plunder the resources of other countries in the global south. Because white man said so. Absolutely shameless. Absolutely shameless. See here, what I was talking about earlier? The de facto administration of Jeanine Áñez has already announced its plan to invite numerous multinationals into the Salar de Uyuni, the vast salt flats in Potosi, which holds the precious soft metal, including Mr. Elon Musk. See, the foreign minister, Karen Longarich, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but meanwhile, letter from the coup's regime foreign minister to Elon Musk dated March 31st says any cooperation that you or your company can provide to our country will be gratefully welcomed. You call that liberation? You call that democracy? Wow. Wow. This is why you always got to pay attention. This is why you can't trust these opposition groups that spring out of nowhere, whether we're talking about Guaido or we're talking about Áñez or we're talking about in Syria. The end result is U.S. military bases and U.S. corporations coming in, being given carte blanche, a blank check, to do whatever they like. Exert a military sphere of influence over the region, plunder the country's resources, and maintain a military occupation. Sounds a lot like colonization, doesn't it? And what's his crime? His crime, Morales' crime, is being the first indigenous president and trying to redistribute the wealth among the people, their wealth. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But you know, of course, if you bring this up, if you mention the reality of U.S. imperialism, all of a sudden you're a conspiracy theorist. Even when the coup plotters and the imperialists and the capitalists openly admit to it. It is mind-boggling how people can have reality staring at them in the face. It blows my mind. These people have reality staring at them in the face and they continue to deny it and defend this disgusting white supremacist agenda, this capitalist thuggery worldwide. Disgusting. I'm speechless, man, and I'm fucking angry. David, thank you very much for the super chat. David says, hold on a second. I'm trying to look for a joke that I want to do. But David says, hors d'oeuvre, we should snack in revolution. Yes, we should. Yes, we should. You know, what's really interesting is I was watching Alien last night, and you know, it starts off with this giant spaceship, right, which is coming back from a mining operation in outer space with who knows how many millions of tons of minerals on board. And I was just thinking, like, man, this stuff is starting to make sense now. You know, Elon Musk has SpaceX. He has the Boring Company. And he's been wearing these t-shirts saying Occupy Mars. I have a feeling that he might be interested in also plundering other planets. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. Oh, this is so disgusting what's happening in Bolivia. Seriously. And Do you think anyone in the mainstream media is going to apologize? Do you think anyone in the mainstream media is going to recognize what happened? Do you think they will ever admit their mistakes? Do you think they will ever do their fucking jobs and expose the true nature of this vicious imperialism, this disgusting capitalism, this murderous agenda? People fucking died because of this coup, okay? How is that a democratic uprising? It's a military coup. You know Uncle Sam is behind this. You know it. Not just because of the history of the OAS, but as soon as exorbitant, large reserves of mineral wealth are found, oh, good luck keeping Uncle Sam's hands off of that. Now you understand why the US has been occupying Afghanistan for 20 plus years, because it is swimming in mineral wealth. Now you understand why they're trying to go after Venezuela, which has the largest oil reserves on the planet. Now you understand why they're trying to go after Morales, why they got rid of Morales, and now they're trying to bring in their multinationals. And this pig, this disgusting vermin cockroach, Elon Musk, openly admitting brazenly, with no shame whatsoever, that yeah, we'll coup whoever we want. Try it, asshole. Fucking shameless. Fucking shameless. There you go. And this is not an old story, and I was reporting on this months ago, man. I reported on the coup when it happened, and I explained to you the OAS's role in it. And then I did a video on this 2 months ago when this New York Times article came out. Oh, oopsie, turns out the election was legitimate. We lied. And I mean, the jig's up. But he knew since the beginning, man. Morales is not stupid. This guy knew. He knew. He knew since the beginning. Hey, we got a whole bunch of new Patreons. Guys, you guys absolutely rock. Okay, I'm gonna have to play several crab dances just for you. Thank you guys so much. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to Carl. Thank you so much to Elisa. Thank you so much to Eileen, to Sean, and to Kauthar. Thank you so much. Crab dances incoming just for y'all.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Cut that bitch off.
Why you texting? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. Okay.
Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
I think y'all deserve a collective second one. I think so.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Listen, fuckhead, you have fucking crossed the line. Claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you goddamn son of a bitch?
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Cut that bitch off.
Why you texting? Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay. Okay.
Suck my dick and choke on it. I yield my time. Fuck you.
Hey, we got a lovely super chat from Giraffe Skull. Thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. It says, thanks for being another rare truth teller. Don't know much of your backstory, but pray your family, friends, and loved ones are safe. And you rock. Literally, cheers. Thank you. That's very, very sweet. I really appreciate that. We just out here doing our thing, man. You know, it's kind of, I mean, egregious is putting it mildly. That's an understatement. But yeah, it's really annoying. It's egregious. It's frustrating when no one else is covering these things. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, Glory. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I hope I can read this. Sacha la guillotina para estos coños imperialistas. Bring out the guillotine for these imperialist cunts. Hell yes. Hell yes. By the way, I got my kefir and I love it. Thanks again for showing the website to get them. UAG. Of course, much obliged. And I'm just happy seeing a local Palestinian joint being supported. And seriously, like so many of you have done that. That's really amazing. And Colin asked me to do a video for you guys, like with the multiple ways to wear them, or the ways that I do it at least. And that is upcoming very, very, very soon. And I'm glad you got it. All of y'all looking stylish as fuck now, representing Palestine. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And for those of you who are wondering, if there's one spot, the last spot in Palestine that makes these, that makes the kefir, the sidok. And it's herbawi.ps. Let me copy paste the link for you. There we go. Hey, that's perfect. Okay, I think you should be able to click on it. Does that work? No. It's missing. There we go. That's the one. Okay, and Claudia pasted it too. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So there you go. I'm glad to see you guys doing that. Just 1 second. I got a message from Chris. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. That's really dope. I'm glad. And Eileen says, I wish I could say such righteous, intelligent anger. So few indie journalists. We need you. Thank you. That's really humbling. You know, I just hope that enough people end up hearing everything that's going on for real. You know, there's a lot of you people. There's a lot of you guys. I see you. I see my people on Twitter always sharing the links and the videos. I really appreciate it, or on Facebook as well. Facebook is also a good spot to share the stuff, because like there's a lot of these things no one even knows they're happening, let alone covering them, you know, and it's really a shame. So thank you guys also for not just supporting the channel financially, but also making sure that the word gets out, because there's a veil, like there's a veil over everything that we covered just now. Like, you're not going to hear a peep out of none of this. It's insane. It's insane. So there you go. I mean, what can I say, man? So if you guys got any questions, because I think I covered all the segments that I needed to cover, go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm just trying to figure something out over here. Ah, there we go. Now I can actually see. That's much better. Oh. Oh, hold on a second. I gotta really... Oh, okay. Just one. I'm just gonna answer one of y'all on Patreon. شكرا شكرا. سلم لي عينك. That you guys are the best. You guys are the best. Seriously, that's really kind of you. So Mona is asking me about the giveaway. So Mona had an idea that we could do a giveaway. Get one of these from Hirbawi, and Mona, could you explain it? Because like I'm on my last brain cell. But basically, we would do a giveaway of one of the siluks or keffiyeh or however you like to call it, the Palestinian scarf. And yeah, that would be really cool. I think that would be lovely. And it includes a spicy tweet. It includes a spicy tweet, which I'll explain in a second. Hey, Colin, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. It says, what does your family or your parents think about what you're doing on YouTube? Hope they are as proud of you as we are. That's a very sweet question. Yeah, they dig it. They dig it. They really appreciate it, and that's it. I don't know what else to say. You know, before yesterday, I showed Roni, my cousin. He saw the video, the one that I did in Arabic, and yeah, he said he loved it, and my auntie and my uncle, they loved it too. So that was really nice to hear as well. I didn't actually know that they watched because they told Roni about the video. And I was like, motherfucker, you don't have notifications on, like. But no, that's really nice to hear that from your family and from your parents. So yeah, they really appreciate it. And thank you for your support as well. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. And it was, we even did an extended like extra segment, right, with Nico. that was good. That was really good. So hold on, I'm just catching up with your comments, guys. Making sure I didn't miss nobody. Colin says you should seriously consider partnering with Hirbawi. I mean, I'd love to, you know, like I'm just happy that I'm able to promote them and help them out since they're the last ones, you know what I'm saying? So there you go. But yeah, I should definitely hit them up. Hey, Mona, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm going to read it to you guys in a jiffy. There we go. So The concept is they need to tweet whatever you choose. Y'all gonna see. Y'all to be entered into the giveaway. Okay, so me and Mona, we're gonna work this out. Mona and me, and then we'll let you guys know as soon as it's ready, as soon as it's good to go. Oh, by the way, I don't know if she wants the praise or not. I don't know. I'm never sure if I should. She deserves all the praise. She deserves all the praise. But we actually got like an entire merch store going, and like this is all thanks to Mona. Like seriously, she knocked it out of the park, and I'll let you guys know about it soon. As soon as it's ready, like, cause you know we're just ironing out the finishing touches and ironing out some details. Yeah, so that's coming soon, and yeah, but I mean, as far as the scarves are concerned, that's definitely, you got to go to the source. You got to go to Herbawi, because that's them. You know, that's them. So there you go. Hold on, I'm trying to read. Yes. Okay, Colin. I'm gonna make sure that happens. That's going into the the suggestion box, but it's not. It's not too hard to implement. I got you. All right, give me a second. I want to make sure I didn't miss nobody. But you guys are the best. Yeah. So guys, on that note, I'm glad that we were able to cover so many topics. And if you have any questions, by all means, shoot. If you got any questions, I think Steph once remarked that I do better with the political questions, because the regular ones I'll give like a tiny answer, but when it's politics, I'll like rant for like 2 hours. So maybe maybe with that one, Yo, check this out. Hold on, I'm gonna show you something really dope. Okay. This is absolutely astronomical. This is absolutely fantastic. Wow. You guys are the best. Look at this. By the way, once again, I'm just checking. Did you guys get the notification on Patreon? Did you get the email that we were going live? I'm just double checking. Mona sent me a super chat that just says motherfucker. I'll take it. That's it. That's it, man. And yo, check this out. This is absolutely phenomenal. We are currently, bam, 15 to go. That was crazy, man. We started out 276. We're 285. We're 15 members away from hitting that goal. And you know what that means. A brand new crab dance is incoming after that. You know it. You know it. We ain't playing around. Y'all ain't ready for that one. Y'all ain't ready for that one. So anyway, guys, on that note, thank you so much for all your support. I really appreciate it. And other than that, there are other ways to support the show if you would like. And just take out your camera, scan the thingy, and yeah, I would really, really appreciate it if you signed up on Rockfin, which is free. But it makes a big difference because, you know, YouTube is censoring us. So just go make a free account. You hit sign up at the top. It's free. And then you hit follow. Just rockfin.com/RichardMedhurst. I'll post a link for you. There you go. And that's it, man. That's it. We totally, absolutely smashed the GoFundMe, which was phenomenal. So I can't thank you guys enough. And again, I don't know if this is the norm. I'm not gonna lie. I've just been going off of what I see other channels doing. So I've been going off of what Status Quo does because I look up to them a lot. I look up to Jordan a lot. So now we're on to the next one, baby. We are on to the next one. We hit the goal. Look at that. Now we're on to the next one. So if you want to contribute on the GoFundMe, please by all means do. It is greatly, vastly appreciated. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So I thank you guys once again for supporting the show. And Colin, if I'm not mistaken, has sent me... Oh, no, it's... okay. Nicola, thank you. Nicola for the super chat. Nicola is asking me, what have you been doing to keep yourself entertained during the pandemic? Obviously, you're busy with the show. I was wondering what else you have going on. Also, it's funny you mentioned Pearl Harbor earlier because I'm trying to get into content creation, and I was going to do a Crime Junkie podcast premise, but around the CIA and the US and all the atrocities they've committed, and maybe incorporate a YouTube channel. That's true. You will never run out of content on that one. Episode 1 is about Pearl Harbor. No shit. Any suggestions for getting into content creation? For example, how to increase your reach? Okay, so first question, or first answer rather. How am I keeping myself entertained? I don't know, man. I don't take any time off whatsoever. It's just like it's work 24/7, which is a bad thing actually because I need to recharge my batteries. You know what I'm saying? Free time for me is reading or watching more politics. So I don't know if that's an adequate answer, but there you go. It's the truth. And that is really dope that you were going to talk about Pearl Harbor. There's a lot to say, once again, I would recommend Military Intelligence Blunders and Cover-Ups, which is a magnificent book. And there's a great chapter on Pearl Harbor in there. Moreover, look into the blockade as well, the oil blockade that was imposed on the Japanese. And tips for getting into content creation. You got to be like... Okay, when people say consistency, they don't really explain what that means. For me, that's like you gotta like live, breathe, eat, shit, whatever you're doing. Okay? Does that make sense? I mean, I'm constantly either reading about history or reading about what's happening right now. So contemporary affairs in the Middle East, internationally, in the US. Kind of addicted to it, you know? And I mean, yes, some days you get sick of the shit, of course. You know, you're not gonna, you're not gonna stay You're not going to have the energy to deal with it every single day. It's exhausting. But like you really have to be in love with it. And I think you're on the right track, because not only will you have a plethora, an endless amount of content, but on top of it, if this is a topic that you love, when you can turn it into something that is constant, not just because of YouTube's stupid algorithm, but because you actually love doing it, that's all that matters, man. Even if I'm dead tired or I don't want to do it, I still get up and I talk about politics, and I still go and read and I do all this shit, because it's kind of like, you don't really need to force yourself. Does that make sense? I don't know. Yeah, just be like a complete fucking nerd about it. So there you go. That's my tip. Now another thing that I would advise is try looking for places online where, for example, you'll have no shortage of forums that are dedicated to discussing history. You got forums that are like obsessed with discussing tanks, for example, or aircraft. You got to look for these places and, interact and join those communities and show them what you're doing. And that's going to help a lot to get your content out there, right? You got to find the niche places, if that makes sense. But yeah. Also, don't be a perfectionist, which is easier said than done. But like most of the time, if you're stressing about something, you probably did fine. Okay, that's the most important one. That's the most important one. You got to get to a point where you're doing so much that you don't even have fucking time to worry about like, was that transition in the video smooth enough? Motherfucker, we ain't got time. Like, people, I can assure you, there's people who have like the shittiest microphone or something and the crappiest animation, and yet they're doing extremely well because people are there for the information, right? So as long as that's good, the basis, there's a good foundation, then you're all set. And please send me the first episode as soon as it's done. I want to see that about Pearl Harbor. So yeah, I hope that helps somewhat. I hope that's somewhat insightful. Of course, Nico. No problem, Nicola. Of course. And if I think of anything else, I'll let you know. But like, yeah, definitely the last one is number one. Don't overstress. Don't overthink. You're probably doing great, and it's just like this perfectionist streak messing with you. Like you're probably doing great work to begin with. So don't add more stress. And just like as soon as you're done with something, move on to the next one. Don't spend too much time obsessing or worrying or yeah. Again, I know it's easier said than done, but over time you will get better at managing it. So yeah, there you go. I'm just reading through your comments. Creeping. Sometimes it's difficult because there's like 15 conversations happening at once, but it's all good. All right, guys. I bid you farewell. I bid you good night. I must recuperate. And thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the show. Thank you for taking an interest in what's happening all over the globe, the stuff that no one else is going to talk about. And I really appreciate everything. Seriously. And yeah, just, even if it takes a few seconds, always like the videos or share them on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. We fight in an uphill battle with YouTube. And yeah, every little bit helps. So I thank you guys so much for everything. And that's it. That's all we got. I hope to see you guys soon. A lot of segments coming your way. And thank you to every single one of you for the kind words and your donations and your outpouring of support and just always being real. So thank you so much. You're welcome, Oliver. Take care, Mona. Take care, Ricky, Amanda, Alan, Fred, Glory, Vero, bonne nuit. David, I'm trying to read everybody's names. Oh, and the Discord. Make sure you join the Discord. All right. So take care.